Okay, folks, I wanted to do a screencast to be able to explain this particular project. So this is the social determinant project that is listed on your syllabus and is listed on your instructions on how to complete your specific assignments. I wanted to wait till after a little bit further on down into the semester to be able to present this, because it does have to do with information that we've learned throughout the semester. And so what I want you to do for this sort of your culminating project for this course is you're going to have the opportunity to delve more deeply into a particular social determinant that is of interest to you. So you're going to be able to choose which determinant you want to use for this project. So we've talked about income equality, we've talked about social capital and social isolation, we've talked about health and housing, health and gender, we've talked about food deserts and food insecurities. And so whichever particular topic is of interest or that you find most interesting or that has some sort of personal connection is the one that I want you to choose for this project. So what you're going to do first and foremost is you're going to determine which social determinant of health you want to study. And if there is a particular determinant that we may not be covering in this course that you find, I am happy to allow you to use that particular determinant for your choice for this project. So that is great there. So you don't have to use the ones that we've only focused on in class, okay? And so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to give me sort of the definition of that particular determinant that you have chosen, and you're going to give me a little bit of background information on that specific determinant and really why you chose it. So I'm really just sort of looking at this area as some factual information about that particular social determinant and how it relates in this country, and why you chose it. What is the importance? What is the interest? What piqued your interest about that particular one? If there's a personal connection for whatever reason, obviously feel free to share that. Nobody will read your project but me, okay? And then secondly, what I want you to do is do a little bit of research about the different challenges in this country as it relates to your specific social determinant of health. So are there specific groups in this country that do have specific challenges when it comes to health and housing? Okay, so if there's specific populations, what are those challenges that specific groups are facing as it relates to your specific social determinant? And then I want you to describe and explain, so do a little research, 1 to 2 national and or local resources that you would use to help improve your specific social determinant of health. Okay, so we all know that the CDC is a wonderful resource. So I don't want you to use the CDC. That's a given one. Okay. So I want you to go out and find whether it is a national resource or even if it's a local resource here in Carrollton or in your hometown. What is 1 or 2 resources that you would use to lean on to improve that specific social determinant if you were to be asked to improve that specific social determinant? Let's say you were given the opportunity to work a job for the public health department, and they said we need to know of some specific resources that we could use to back up our information about this specific social determinant. What would those be? Okay, so that's what I'm looking for there. And then number 4, why is addressing the role of your specific social determinant of health important for this country? So what is its impact in relationship to the whole health of the whole country? So how does it sort of impact? If you look at it, you sort of start on the individual level, and then it impacts, you know, that county, and then that county impacts that state, and then of course that state impacts the country as a whole. So why is addressing your specific one? If I said to you I was going to give $10,000 to the person that came to me with the best reason as to why addressing their specific social determinant was most important for our country. What would be your pitch? Okay, so to get that money, that's sort of what I'm looking for there. And then finally, I want you to be a little bit creative in this, and you may have to do a little bit of researching on what some of the laws are. But if you were asked by the President of the United States to restructure or create, so either existing laws or you get to create new laws, 1 to 2, that you would think would have a positive influence on that specific social determinant of health, what would they be? So give me 1 or 2 and describe them in detail, meaning, what would the law say? What would be the purpose behind the law and how it would impact that particular social determinant of health, and why do you feel like that law is really important? So 1 to 2 laws that you would either restructure, so if there's a law already in place, how would you restructure it, or what would you create? Okay, and so that's sort of the components that I want to be in your project. And then of course at the bottom here, how should I present my project? Very simply, minimum of 2. You most certainly can go over 2, but a minimum of 2 single-spaced pages, obviously 1-inch margins all around, Times New Roman font, 12-point, that's sort of standard. What I want to make sure you understand is that, again, that single-spaced, and what I want you to make sure you understand is I don't need that information at the top left of a page. I don't need my name, which class, the date, your name. I don't need any of that information. I have all that information when I log into CourseDen and pull up your specific Dropbox. I already have all that information. What I want you to do is simply pull up a new Word document, have all your information ready, fix your margins, fix your font, and then just start typing. Okay, that's what I want to do. If you want to label your sections, so number 1, and then you start typing, you most certainly can do that as well. But I don't need any of that unnecessary information. It's just really page filler. That's all it is. And I'm not looking for page filler. I'm looking for content in your paper. Okay. And so you'll notice on the syllabus that the due date was April 8th. And that was really, I wasn't sure when I was going to present this project. It sort of depended on how far we got with our content. So obviously I want to push that back so you have a little over a month to complete this assignment. So April the 29th, which is I think the Sunday before the last day of the semester at 11:59 p.m. And then of course you will have 3 days after the 29th to be able to submit your project for partial credit if need be. But as soon as that Dropbox is closed, I will immediately have to start grading those papers to be able to get those grades posted before the registrar needs them. So that's just a quick summary of this assignment, and hope you enjoy.